Hello and welcome to a new episode for Boomer Base. We are joined by a new person today, Marshall. Say hello.
Hello, it is me, Marshall.
Whoa, what a
Whoa,
what a cool name!
whoa.
But no,
I'm not Charles.
I know. This is very different. So today we're
It's a
bringing you a
revelation.
I know we're bringing you a anime movie reviewers. Charles, unbeknownst to him, he's not really a fan of anime, which is totally fine. But I am a big anime nerd, so I needed someone who is a equally big anime nerd to share this passion and talk about anime with. So today we are bringing you. I don't know how many new anime films will come out in the cinema, but we went to see one today. It's the new Sword Art Online Progressive, which is the sort of factory reboot for Sword Art Online called, and I am prepared to butcher this name, but Scherzo of Deep Night. So movie two of I don't actually know how many, but yeah, tell
It's
me.
it's looking like currently there's going to be 7 films
Okay, seven. I'm
as it
honestly I'm
stands.
okay with that. I randomly thought it
It
was going to be three and be like, we're on floor five.
it'll be 7 if they continue with the books. There are
Okay.
7 books that have currently been translated. There are 8 that he has made. So there could be more. There could be lots and lots more, or they could condense them. I haven't read the books, but that's what people on Reddit are saying, and I trust the people of Reddit.
The people who read it are normally correct. Now, before we go any further, I will say, spoilers ahead. We will try not to literally give too much away. He says, but I may actually end up by
I
accident. But spoilers ahead. You've been warned now. Reboot aspect for Sword Art Online. For me, I watched Sword Art Online the day it first came out, and I was blown away. Much like most of the fan base, for oh my god, we're trapped in a game and you die if you die. It was bonkers. Sword Art Online, although hated by a lot of anime fans, it really did a lot for the anime community as a whole, and it skyrocketed in popularity the same way that Attack on Titan did. Um, but no, the first film was really good for me. This film, not as amazing, but it wasn't necessarily a bad film. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of good elements. While I'm fond of the trapped in a sort of like the digital world concept, all the isekai anime that come out every season now. Um, for me, part one of season one of Sword Art Online is my all-time favorite. And the problem for me with that was it just went so quickly. I really enjoyed the episodes within that were just kind of like the chill kind of like Asuna and Kirito just living in the home. Like they helped break apart from the action, but only having 12 episodes to sort of like cover X amount of flaws wasn't really enough. So that's why I kind of like am enjoying this film series and much more because the first film's like an hour and 40 minutes and that's just floor one done, and then this film is about I think a similar time and it just covers floor five, well four and five I guess, but so it was quite cool. This film essentially is at the beginning they defeat the fourth floor boss and then they try and basically deal with the floor five boss, but there's a sort of like power struggle between the two main guilds. um, and then we get to see some other things to do with PKing, which was quite cool and whatnot. But no, they're like for me relatively good film, but within the sort of seven range. If I put number one at like a mid eight, I'd say. Still, relatively good, but still things that could be improved on, unfortunately. But what did you think, M Dog?
I M-Dog, I like that. I I actually like the second film more than the first film.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but it was. I think I really got hooked in by the idea of the guilds like fighting. I don't know, like all of that infighting and them like plotting to try and take over and be the best. And I don't know, something really struck a chord with me, I suppose. I just preferred this film a lot more than the first one. I don't know if it was because the first one was almost identical to Sword Art Online, the original series, which I've seen a fair few times in my day, but it's I don't know, it brought something different, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm.
But the first film is also really good in my opinion. But I'd probably go 7 for the first, 8 for the second.
Okay, yeah,
So
no, that's
almost polar opposites,
I like no
but
that
it's in a good way.
I agree. Like the first film, pretty much other than including Mito, who's a new sort of almost like non-canon, almost canon character now.
Hmm.
That was only the real difference, pretty much. But yeah, it was all a pretty much extension of the first like 1 to 3 episodes, the first movie, which was fine.
Yeah.
It was all kind of like scaled up animation quality, and the sound was a bit nicer. And it was nice to see Asuna's point of view, because for those that don't know,
Mm.
progressive is basically more from Asuna's point of view rather than Kirito's, which has been quite nice. We haven't just suddenly met her like we did in the anime and she's already a badass, and then suddenly, whoop, fast forward and she's in like the number like 2-3 position of like the main guild, which still hasn't been introduced yet. So I'm hoping that does come in if that has happened in the new retelling. But I think this is from in the cinema. I think this is the 10 year anniversary of Sword Art Online. I'm fairly sure it came out in 2013, so that's pretty cool that Sword Art's been about for 10 years. To be fair.
Yeah, I was really surprised to find that. I didn't realize Sword Art had been out for 10 years. That made me feel very old. I don't know if that's 10 years of the anime or 10 years of the book, but I know that the book came out and then the anime followed very, very shortly because it was so popular in Japan.
I think it was 2013 because I'm fairly sure Attack on Titan came out in 2014, and I watched Sword Art
Yeah.
Online before that. So I'm fairly sure, yeah, it is the anime from 2013 as well. But no, like the film itself, any film that keeps me invested is normally quite good. It was all pretty much for this one. I'm fairly sure it was just 99% all new content, which was nice. It was all stuff that we haven't really seen in Sword Art Online, so that was really cool. Um, I think the main real interest for me was seeing the fourth floor boss. That was quite cool. It was this sort
Mm.
of like water esque pony thing that just spewed water everywhere. Now, the
Mm.
one big if with that is that they definitely could have shown floor 2 and floor three's boss, even just as like a montage type of thing, which was a bit annoying to not see, but you can't win everything, unfortunately. But no,
No,
it's definitely a cool boss.
I agree. I feel like they probably could have shown the floor 2 and 3 boss because right at the start of the film they'd replay the end of the last film, right?
Hmm.
Am I remembering that wrong? I'm pretty sure they did. I feel like they could have just shown the other bosses and done like a quick montage of them clearing through, even if they only had like a little bit, tiny bit for the first boss again, then just shown like some cool monsters or something. That's all I need to see. And like Kirito swinging his sword. That's all I want.
Yeah, no, I'd have been content with that. It'd been cool to because I like seeing all the new bosses. Like in this film,
Hmm.
we got two bosses, which was nice. We saw the fourth and the fifth, so that's always a win. If movie three can do like maybe, I'm assuming movie three might try to re-grip fans with having that sort of one, the boss where Kirito gets to like double sword it up. But
I'm assuming so. I was like expecting him to almost attempt it in this film. It felt like it was leading up to like a big hype moment like that, if that makes sense.
definitely. But no, I mean it was fine. I was kept intrigued throughout the whole film, which was really good. The sound for this still sounds really good. I'm not sure if it's on the same level as Alicization or however you pronounce it, but it definitely is similar. I'm just not sure if Alicization emphasized more of those like I don't even know how to do it. They're almost like those bullet sounding bangs and crunches that it does.
Yeah, like the real thunderous claps and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah, I feel that.
But I think the one problem for this film that will probably be the case of why it's not going to be, because I think it's already got a less rating than the first movie. I think it's that this film specifically is for Sword Art Online fans. If you go in as a casual anime viewer or maybe as a kind of hater of Sword Art trying to maybe give it another go, you probably won't like this movie as much, unfortunately.
Mm.
Like there is a lot more slice of life, which if you're a fan of Sword Art and do enjoy it, it's nice. You get to see more characters, you get to see the infighting between two of the guilds that we only maybe got slight glimpses of
Yeah.
in the series, which was nice. Um, we get like a new introduced character called Argo, that's basically this cat lady that is like an information broker. In which I mean, she's pretty cool. She's got some like claws for weapons, so that's kind of like right on the nose for the catness.
Mm.
But I mean, you could have done without her, and it would have been fine still. I think her only purpose was really to have like a random like bikini test fight with Asuna randomly, but that's just
Yeah,
it's
I
just the
think you
case it
might be
is.
right.
with this.
I did like the idea of having like an information broker that sort of channeled and networked around the other floors to try and get information around. I did like that idea, but it did feel like it was sort of thrown in last minute. But maybe it was just there for now, built on in the second or the third film even, just like Mito's character was.
Mito for me, I think, is a quite a cool character. It was nice to see that she was kind of struggling with leaving Asuna, really. And it's quite cool that she sort of wanted to start up a shop and make things for players because like I think what people end up forgetting sometimes in Sword Art Online is that literally like they are just pretty much like teens and things, and probably some are adults and whatnot, but like they are in a world where to them, if they die, they die. They got to try and live
Hmm.
some form of life. Now we haven't touched upon any of the sort of outside world thing really about like even seeing them in like hospital beds or anything. So I don't know if that will get touched upon in later films or anything. But Mito's character opening a shop, quite cute, quite cool to be honest. It made me laugh that she said that she had a really low like crafting ability, but the one thing she had made was like protection 5 from poison and paralysis.
I thought that as well when the guy was like, "Yeah, I've got this really strong poison," and Kirito was like, "This charm would have just negated all of it. What's the point?"
I know he was so shocked by looking at it. He was like, "What the hell is this?
Yeah,
His stats are so good." But I mean, it's quite nice, because you have oh lord, I can't even remember his name. There's two sides. There was the Ironcrad AKB or something, AJB.
I thought it was ALS, but
It might
that
have
just sounds
been.
like the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah.
That's a throwback. That is.
For viewers of just Sword Art in general, there was that like um redhead dude that looked like a spiky cherry tomato. He basically leads like one of the armies, Kaibo, I think he's called, and then
Yeah.
the other dude began that guy on the screen that just came on for anyone looking at the screen at that time. And oh, those two right there. And that blue haired dude's the leader of the other guild, the Dragon something guild or something, in which he's taken over from that
Yeah.
basically leader of the first floor fight. And those two are basically like pitted against each other. And basically the fifth floor boss drops like this spear flag thing that basically just boosts everyone's stats and whatnot. So one of the sides was basically trying to get there first and beat the boss. But to be honest, the boss was really kind of cool. It gave me very like actual boss fight type of like feelings of having to learn what he was doing and figure it out and things. And I mean, if like the whole
Mm.
assault combat squad had come, like they would have lost. I think having a smaller group
I
like they did in the film basically made them survive.
I think so as well. Can you? Massive spoiler, but if there was 100 people in there all standing on those blue lines, everyone would have been dead. Literally, everyone would have been slaughtered in minutes.
Yeah, and like there's a bit where Asuna gets like caught in the golem's mouth. Like the boss is this giant flipping golem looking thing, but she gets caught in the mouth, and then like her armor breaks, and she's like gone down to less than half health. And then eventually, when they get her out, Mito's literally just like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine," just as if she just did nearly die. Like just lost tons of health, in which she's pretty stacked and whatnot. But I don't know. Like there was definitely some cool moments. I'm definitely more invested in the PKing aspect, as I think they're laughing coffin, or at least I'd like to hope they're laughing coffin.
They've
Um,
got to be the laughing coffin.
and there's a
Got to
dude
be.
that basically after they get the flag and defeat the boss, some dude comes out with like a gold, Sons of Harpies from Game of Thrones mask on, and it's just like let's kill him type of thing. And I don't understand why Kirito just didn't, kick his ass or something, or just be like, is this not one of those like PKer fucks?
Mm.
But it is a very interesting concept to just even have PKers in a game where if you get killed, you actually kill someone. Like it's very like sadistic and does really just like up the ante and up the sort of the impact of it all. Like if there is just some
Mm.
PKing guild in a world where if you die in real life. That's very scary.
They're almost a worse evil than the bosses of the floor themselves, right? Well, they definitely are, but it's it's also how you play a video game, right? People love PvP in video games.
Mm-hmm.
To have that in a world where if you die, you die. It feels oddly normal,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Like my biggest love with Sword Art is definitely Asuna and Kirito's relationship, and
Mhm.
it got a little bit better in this film. I mean, they held hands, they had a cuddle. Kirito needed to be praised, so Asuna decided to just basically just shove his head into her like boobs and stroke his hair.
I did think that was a bit
Yeah,
weird,
I was.
but
It was very long, that
it
scene as well.
was.
It was very.
It was long and awkward and weird, but I guess it works.
I know there wasn't even any sort of like him blushing about going into her tits or anything. It was just
Yeah,
straight
no,
like,
it's just
here, let me rub your head and everything. I was
yeah.
just like, please
Aw.
kiss, but they didn't. But no, like I'm hoping to see that get better as the films go on, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the Reaper if he appears. Like that was just cool seeing a boss
Mm,
that just like, well, it's not even a boss, just a random like mob that couldn't be killed, and then especially that skeleton floor boss. Like when that I saw that for the first time in the anime, I lost it when suddenly you just saw up in the corner, it just on the ceiling. I was like,
mm.
oh my god. But no, as always, watching Sword Art Online and just even watching it today, I now just want to play an MMO type of game so
I
badly.
feel that.
I literally just want
I
to boot up Skyrim and just play or something, or just see like World of Warcraft. I played a few times and it has been nice, but I don't know. Maybe I just have to get the Sword Art Online like PS4 game or something and try and give that a go.
yeah, they did, didn't they?
I think there's a couple of them.
I never got any of them, but I was definitely tempted. I remember that film gave me huge like I want to go join a guild in WoW and go raid. It very much gave me that vibe.
I know. I was definitely just sort of like, for me in the cinema, I always get so uncomfortable, so I was just fidgeting like a crackhead essentially, but and just swapping my legs over and folding my feet and whatnot. But no, I was definitely like, damn, I really want to just play something like Valheim or something and just like build my
Mm,
own worlds and just try survive in a world where you're just exploring new things and not like, because I think that's the problem with some like games now. Everything's just crazy, crazy spoiled. Like it would be so cool to like go it,
experience everything
yeah, for
as
the
you're going
first time,
through.
or just like
Yeah.
have to get information and that's all that you get. That's why I enjoyed with Valheim when it first came out. Like there was no sort of, there was spoilers of what the bosses were, but I was
Mm,
mainly getting to like experience them firsthand, and it was so nice. But I could die multiple times and not actually die in real life. But
true.
no, yeah, defeating the boss was pretty cool. I liked seeing everyone get involved and kind of do their own thing. We had a sort of Romeo and Juliet thing where one character from one guild and another one kind of like ended up together at the end, which was quite nice.
Mm.
And I mean the golem was definitely very cool. Mito's weapon randomly just got infinitely better and became like a almost a, to pardon your Yu-Gi-Oh card, a kunai with chain almost.
Oh
Um,
my god, it was a kunai with chain.
it literally was, and that was just randomly OP. And if they didn't have that, I'm really not sure how they would have defeated the golem. To be honest, I think they would have just all up and
Mm,
died. But
yeah.
no, like that's my literally my 2 cents on it. Really, have you got any more to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the actual final fight with the golem a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely my favorite part of the film. 100%. I l- I loved the when the golem actually like becomes the full body, drops from the ceiling and he starts throwing those punches. Like I don't know what it was about it, but just seeing him like properly turned back, ready
Yeah,
to
he
throw
got
his
ready to
fist
like
down.
bring his fist in randomly. It looks so like so
It
cool. But then the two love people, they just like blocked it with the power of love.
I did think that, but
I
I don't
was like,
know.
no way.
Just seeing that like giant golem just bringing his lumbering fist down, just like sent actual like dread receptors through my spine. It
I
was it was
know.
really weird sensation,
Because
but I really enjoyed it.
Other than Asuna getting captured randomly, there wasn't like too much dread randomly. That's the one thing I would like them
Mm,
to up the ante with in future films is just like near misses, but more of it. Not necessarily like to like every time it's a near miss, but more of like a shit. I nearly just died. You know,
yeah,
because we didn't get to see many people's health bars in that boss fight at all, really, other than Asuna's. And anytime randomly we
mm,
saw Kirito's perspective or something. I'm hoping they explain a bit more or something, but they were very much, hinting at like Asuna just being like the strongest of strongest randomly at one point in the film. They were just like, oh, have you seen how much she's improved? She's going to be stronger than any of us one day.
yeah. I did think that was a bit. random.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm open for it. If Kirito could have that kind of growth, why can't Asuna? Because obviously
Exactly.
Kirito was very, very overpowered in the actual Sword Art series.
And he still is
But
quite overpowered in this, apart from when he starts slashing at a golem's like fist like 6 times, and then it finally releases someone. But Asta's got to come like poke it once, and it releases. Just charged up the attack more, I guess. But
hmm,
no, because they don't see each other too much after the first floor fight. So I don't know if this is stuff that potentially would have happened if we got to see it. But then she kind of goes off and is in that big like white and red guild in the actual like series. I don't know if they're going to part
hmm.
ways maybe in this film or something. Or
I was wondering that. I really thought right at the very end of the film when they had the banner and they were, making Kirito was making his terms, being like, "You guys need to join together, and I'll give you this." I really thought he was gonna, instead of saying all of that, I thought he was just gonna hand it to Asuna and just be like, "Make a guild,
yeah, to
make
be
one
fair, I
now."
did as well. Like I wonder if like she end up does starting a guild or if there is just like a guild that we don't know about because like one of the leaders in the guild is the guy that made the game and is just kind of like watching and is ultimately the villain of the show. So um,
Yes, that is true,
I
isn't it?
don't know if he will just randomly appear at some point, maybe when they're trying to like clear a lot or something. But
Yeah.
who knows, really? Who knows? But yeah, like from viewers watching the trailer that's just in the background, that's just been on repeat of the film, like you can see the golem within it, and that's the scene there when they block the shield. It is very cool. It is really nice to see. I think his name's Agil in it, the black dude.
Hmm.
I'm glad.
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
glad
can't
he's
remember
still
his
in
name.
it. I just want to see Klein. You and me both desperate to
We
see
we
Klein,
we saw him for I counted 5 seconds in the first film. 5 seconds. That's it.
the best
I need him
character.
back. I need him back. He was my favorite. I
Oh,
don't know what it was about him. I just loved him.
I know
But he's
he
not
was
here.
just so cool because he had his like own little guild going on and
Yeah, he
whatnot,
did.
and like it'd be crazy to honestly be in like a video game like this. Like I'm just waiting for them to release something almost as good where you don't die in real life, but just like on the Oculus type of thing, and I will just spend a lot of my time in that. Just
I agree. I feel like we'll probably get reintroduced to Klein at some point in these films.
literally fingers crossed for me, fingers crossed. But
Because according to the Reddit source that I have once again quoting, in the original series we saw from floor 1 and then we skipped straight to floor 11. So we've obviously now gone to floor 5, we've seen floor 4, 6. I feel like somewhere in between there, Klein's got to be introduced again. Because I remember him being in at least the third episode. Well, he was obviously in the first episode and second episode, but I remember him being there.
yeah, as we see him, I think in part one of season one, like randomly, I think not too soon or around the same time that Kirito meets those like PKer people from the. Oh my god, I don't even. I've said the name earlier. I want to say the
The Laughing
lumberjack,
Coffin.
laughing coffin. Yes,
Yeah.
like he sees them not too long after that, and even Klein's just like, "Oh, join my guild." When like Kirito's just on his ones, I think after his like depression from getting that small little guild killed, in which it was
Yeah.
just so his own fault. Like the man should have just shared the wealth and whatnot.
He
And
really should have, but
because yeah, it is crazy. Like imagine being stuck in a game where if you die in real life, and just being like, I'm just gonna open up a shop.
yeah.
That's all I'm gonna do.
Honestly, I'd become like an information broker, just like the Catwoman.
I don't.
Honestly,
I don't understand how
I'd just,
not everyone is fighting to some extent. Like
hmm,
the only way you're going to get out is if you fight and beat the game. Like you've got like there should just be some like school where everyone's just getting like trained randomly, and once you've passed that, you can literally be like, here, go into this guild, and now you can join and help. And I
you
think
join
in
like a
this,
big militia.
yeah, and I think in the film, I think we only heard the phrase "switchy," as Kirito likes to say, I think once, and that was in the Golem fight towards the very end. We heard him say "switch,"
Yeah,
and which
we
I
heard him
was
say
like,
it many,
"Whoa!"
many times.
In the first film, it was like "switchy, switchy,
Switch,
switchy,
switch.
switch."
Yeah.
So it's nice to not be just absolutely bombarded with the word "switch."
Hmm.
Thankfully, they've learned how to do attacks and combos. Just seeing it on the screen now, the Mito versus Asuna fight was kind of cool, but I don't think Mito. I think Mito is much much stronger than she is letting on randomly. Um,
Yeah, I think so too.
and I still don't think we've even seen like Kirito's full potential just yet. Although he still feels very strong, I feel like he still has some like he doesn't really seem to take any damage at the moment. So
It seems that way. It reminds me of that scene from the original, you know, where there's like the four guys that are all just like swinging on him, and he's it looks like he's taking no damage, but he's actually just regenning it all faster than they can deal it.
Yeah, that's what I've literally got to assume, and it's nice that we're seeing more like enchantment things and just like things being. It's just filling out the world of Sword Art Online in a nice way. Other than
It's
that,
exactly what the series needed.
yes, I would agree, and we got to see that annoying little shrew, which I thought they were really rare, but maybe that was just rare to the first floor because they're like
Yeah,
Asuna went on like a killing spree of like 12 of them randomly.
Yeah.
So she must be stacked for items now.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like, don't these guys always drop rare items? Is she not fucking loaded now? What happened?
Sure, she got paper, but I mean,
Yeah, she
that
got
just
a ball of paper.
that just means they scrumpled up their like meeting point and thingy. Like it took her like next to no time to figure it out. And I mean, introducing the relic things and getting spoken to about relic hunting and things was kind of cool as well. I would definitely just like do that a lot more, or just be like, here, people of lower floors, just have these blueberries, and just if you're not wanting to fight them, then just go relic hunting.
You know what I've got written down in my notes? I like the relic hunting. If I was in the game, I'd be a relic hunter.
Yeah, I'd be a relic hunter. I was sad we didn't get to see relics in the underground because, Kirito hyped it up after being, conveniently next to the entrance to the cavern randomly.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to see any of the necklaces. I was honestly expecting them to find like a cool item that would then be used later on in the film, but
yeah, I thought they'd find an item that would come in useful for the floor 5 boss. I thought like when they started introducing the relics, I was like, oh, maybe this boss can only be defeated by a relic or something.
Relic that they found, yeah. And to be fair, like the film wasn't even too predictable, all things considered.
No.
Other than that, if you think they're going to win the fight, I had no clue what was going to happen in the film. We get 2 introductions to PKing people, and the first one not so much, but the second one definitely had like an air of like spookiness, and like it was almost like kind of scary and threatening. Like both of them were kind of just like there's fucking someone following us type of thing, but neither of them said anything. And then suddenly they're walking, and you see in the background just someone walking behind them, and I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
here we fucking
I
go.
really like those scenes. Especially the first time that he shows up, where he's just like a flash across the screen.
Most definitely.
I loved it.
But no, I think that's pretty much like all I have to say really now for the film. Like for me,
Yeah,
rounding it
so
off,
too.
it wasn't as good for the first one for me, but it still wasn't a bad film whatsoever. I think this is actually we haven't talked about it, to be honest, but to me, I think this is a very like positive step forward for Sword Art Online, and I would even, to quote the title of probably this episode, Sword Art Online is good. It is. I think people should really like re-give these movies a go, especially the first one. It is available on Crunchyroll, so by all means, if you have Crunchyroll, please do go watch it.
The second is also a Crunchyroll original film, so it will be on there eventually. It's just that it's fresh to UK cinemas right now.
Yes, we literally saw it today, as in the 5th of February, and
yes, day of recording, we didn't just get back, but we've visited the cinema in the same day.
Yeah, and that's I think the first day for seeing it in our area at the Odeon. So yeah, it's pretty fresh, hopefully. But yes, I had a good time. So that's good, and that's all that matters. It's really nice getting to see anime films in the cinema.
It really is.
And,
maybe for the next review on this series, we'll watch the trailer one that we saw that looked really, really nice.
The new Makoto Shinkai Suzume movie. It looks very, very good. I think we have the Black Clover film to come out as well.
We do have the Black Clover
that'll
film.
Be insane to watch as well. But no, I'd just like to say thank you everyone that watches. Hope you enjoyed it. I know potentially some people may view it that don't like Sword Art Online, and if you've randomly made it this far, hey ho, thank you for watching. But by all means, please comment below, tell us what you think. If you've seen the film, or if you're going to see the film, let us know, and then hopefully you will enjoy more anime related content like this one. So take care, and thank you.